What if the thing you've been trying to reach is the very thing keeping you from seeing clearly? What if all the effort, the practices, the constant refining of yourself isn't leading you closer, but quietly reinforcing the distance? Because here's the truth most people never consider. It's not that awakening is difficult. It's that the way we've been taught to approach it doesn't work. Welcome to Mystic Reflections, a space for exploring awareness beyond concepts, beyond methods, and beyond the patterns that keep the mind searching. In this video, we're going to look at one of the most deeply rooted misconceptions about awakening, something that feels true, sounds true, but subtly keeps people circling the same experience without ever stepping outside of it. The lie. The biggest misunderstanding about awakening is the idea that it's something you move toward, something waiting ahead of you, something you arrive at after enough effort. It sounds reasonable, even inspiring. But the moment you accept that idea, you unknowingly divide your experience into two parts, where you are and where you think you need to be. And from there, the search begins. The trap of seeking. The search can take many forms: learning, practicing, refining, improving. On the surface, it feels meaningful, like you're evolving. But beneath it, there's a quiet assumption that something isn't complete yet, and that assumption becomes the foundation of the journey. Because the one who is trying to become awakened is built on the idea of being incomplete. So the more energy you put into becoming, the more solid that identity feels. It's subtle, but powerful. Why this persists? What makes this so convincing is that it often feels like progress. There are insights, moments of clarity, shifts in perception, and each one seems to point forward, as if you're getting closer to something final. But that final moment keeps moving, always just ahead, because it's being imagined by the same mind that's trying to reach it. What awakening actually is? So if it's not something you move toward, what is it? It's not an achievement. It doesn't arrive in a moment of perfection. And it doesn't depend on your thoughts becoming silent. It's far more immediate than that. It's the simple fact of being aware before anything is interpreted, before the mind names it, before it turns it into something to understand. It's already here, not as an experience to hold on to, but as the space in which every experience appears. The shift. The shift doesn't come from pushing further. It begins when that impulse to keep reaching starts to be seen clearly. You notice how every effort carries a subtle tension, a quiet sense that something needs to change. And instead of following that movement, you let it be there. No correction, no direction, just observation. And within that, something begins to loosen. Not in a dramatic way, not as a breakthrough, but as a quiet settling, like the mind no longer needing to chase what it couldn't actually lose. The paradox. And this is where the paradox gently comes into view. It's not that something new appears when the search falls away. It's that the search was never necessary to begin with. In its place, there's a quiet clarity that nothing was ever missing, and the search was the only thing that made it seem so. If you're drawn to exploring awareness in a way that goes beyond techniques and concepts, consider subscribing to Mystic Reflections, where we look at these deeper layers in a clear and grounded way. Because sometimes what feels like a path forward is really just a pattern repeating itself, and seeing that clearly can change everything. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next reflection.